Welcome. You are here with Dr. Nilda Perez with Business Foresight, creating strategies towards your extraordinary future. I'm going is always looking, pulling from experts, people that do things
right
better than you or more than you.
Right. There's always somebody who knows a little bit more.
Yeah, and you should always be surrounded around those people that know more than you, so that, because what that does is that also piques your curiosity and gives you the opportunity to learn more.
Right. It steps you outside of your comfort zone and kind of forces you to step up to the challenge. Okay. I'll take your mic more. I can't really, pick it up.
Nilda, it wasn't live.
All right. Well, thankfully that was only a test, and there's not a real emergency, so we're safe here, and we can continue on with our lesson.
Well, there we go. Okay. And from what I understand, we just tuned in to Facebook Live, so.
Oh, yay.
So it took us a minute, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We will just move right along, and remember, we're going to be on SoundCloud, so you can hear it there, and there's so many ways. And
that's because you're teaching them new things, and not to be comfortable, and to have to learn and step outside the comfort zone.
That's right.
It was part of your plan, right?
That was part of the plan.
You are so smart.
Can I tell you? Oh yeah. So anyway, and in order to stay ahead, we want to, in this rapidly changing world, as you can see, like technology, we can't always count on that. We really have to be well versed in more than one area, right? So yes, and that's what we want to do. So today's influencers and thought leaders and creatives are creators in their industries.
Okay.
They're the ones that are leading, and they're the ones that are taking it to the next level. And you must lead as a visionary. I think it's the most important thing. And again, I can't stress enough. Please, 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 don't be comfortable where you are. Always try to learn more, stretch more. Surround yourself around people that know more. That's not to make you feel dumb, but actually you can learn so much more from people that know more than you.
That's true.
So, and we're going to take a little break here. We're going to go into some music and a very short commercial. And here we go. I am.
Are you plugged in?
I am. Is this really plugged in?
I think so.
So, yeah, here we go. We're just having technical difficulties all over the place today.
Is it playing?
Yes, it is.
Because I'm potted up here. Let's see. All right, let's try this again. There we go.
There we go. Awesome.
Okay, you need to talk into that mic more. I'm losing you. Can you pull the mic back? Because you're talking over the mic, not in the mic. So if you can bend it,
There we go.
that would make a big yes.
Yeah.
Talk like in this
area.
Right. I mean, it's okay if you're speaking a little bit past it because it'll help pop your piece, but you were doing this, so you were behind it, so I wasn't getting, I was still getting you, but it could be better.
It could be better. Yeah. Okay, so this is better.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, just get into that. Is it?
En Facebook.
Okay, well.
Si yo me paré and I click.
We do the best. I don't know. Are we on?
Oh.
Are we live?
That's what I'm asking him. No me ha dicho.
I think we are because it's saying people are joining.
There we go. So we're good.
So
Those of you that got on late, welcome. And I'm going to be sure to send you the information on SoundCloud so that you can get that first few minutes.
yes.
We're good.
This is a nice song.
Then we have commercial.
Yes. It's only a minute in the commercial, just so you know.
Oh, we'll let them know. I'll say it over the air and we'll be fine.
I really like the worksheet.
You like the worksheet, isn't it cool?
I already
Yeah.
downloaded it, so.
Oh, okay.
Follow
Awesome.
along.
Yeah, okay. So I just think it's so much easier when you have something to follow. Since you're
Yes.
learning stuff and it's not just random, you can actually jot.
Right. My only thing is it's a PDF, so I can't type on it. So,
We're gonna keep improving. So what's your suggestion? Because
Microsoft Word.
right, Word
Yeah.
or something where I can, because I even downloaded it and it came up as a PDF. So, because then
okay,
if I don't have a printer and I'm sitting here on my computer listening, then I
you
can
still
type
can't
in.
take the notes.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna change that. Again, suggestions are welcome.
But
Yeah,
I really
well,
have
that's the
enjoyed
way. That's the way
worksheets.
we improve, right? So yeah. Okay, we'll make that happen.
Because I want to type on it, so.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Okay.
Your son?
Si el balance de sus tarjetas de crédito está fuera de control, llame a Consolidated Credit. Si está cansado de hacer pagos mínimos mensuales y no ver resultados, llame a Consolidated Credit. Si las tasas de interés de sus tarjetas de crédito son muy altas, llame a Consolidated Credit al 800-590-1359. Hemos ayudado a más de 5 millones de personas y estamos listos para ayudarle. Podemos rebajar sus intereses, reducir sus pagos hasta un 50% y ayudarle a eliminar sus deudas rápidamente. Si está luchando con las deudas de sus tarjetas de crédito, Consolidated le enseñará cómo salir y mantenerse libre de deudas. Llame ahora al 800-590-1359. 800-590-1359. 800-590-1359.
Alright, 10 seconds.
Es una compañía de préstamos con licencia del Departamento de Servicios Financieros de New York, el Departamento de Regulaciones Financieras de Vermont, Maryland, y 19.
And we're back at Juan 97, 95.7 y la Super Latina. Okay, I want to talk about a future festival that I participated in a few weeks back,
Okay.
and it was given by the Association of Professional Futurists, and which I'm a member of.
Oh, of course.
And no, it was I was not a member of a lot of things, but this was particularly fascinating because they were talking about all things future,
Okay.
and they had 21 people, leading futurists around the globe. And let me tell you the most fascinating part of this. This was a 12-hour event.
Oh my goodness.
No, but the purpose was to get people from throughout the world.
So it was international.
It was international. The speakers were international, and the whole program was international. It was absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
And the best part was the fact that with technology and how we talk about innovation, with technology, there's a possibility that you can actually go around the world and be in somebody's time zone when they're like up at
Yeah.
some point. That was what to me was fascinating. I was like, oh my goodness. I had people that were coming on like either just got up or were ready to go to bed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was fascinating, and not to mention the speakers, but I want to talk specifically about Katie King, who was the one that she really made an impression because she's dedicated to teaching foresight and futures thinking in schools to children.
Wow.
And today we have an educator here, and I think this is really goes, really hand in hand with that. So one of the things that she stated was that it's key that foresight has the power to allow young people to see themselves in the future and have the sense that they have some influence and some control over it.
Wow.
So she has this program called Teach the Future, which she is dedicated to teaching not just here nationally, but internationally.
Very cool.
And she presents to educators from kindergarten through college, and she finds new methods of educating and instructing students. And I think that's fascinating, especially having someone who's an educator who has done, a lot of this same kind of stuff. But it was a really fascinating training and all that she brought to the table.
What does she teach?
She actually teaches bringing kids, teaching them. Like I said, she teaches the future.
She teaches.
And so she teaches foresight, and she opens the minds of kids to see themselves in the future and how they can influence it. So it's not just see themselves in the future, but how can you today start preparing yourself to be influential for the future?
That's a lot for a kindergartner, right, though? Like, how
Well,
do
I
you...
think we gotta go back to the whole mindset. You start at that point. That doesn't mean that they're gonna change the world at 6.
They could.
But you know what? If you teach a child from that young, because think about it, Katie. What is the first thing that we do what are the first thing that they do to us when we're young? They keep telling us all the stuff we can't do. Like, well, that's nice, but come on, really. And by the time we're teenagers, we've lost a lot of confidence. And by the time we're ready to go to college, we have no idea what we're gonna do. Why? Because we've been told no so much.
Wow, yeah.
So I think the beauty of this is to be able to ignite that from a very young age through college and teach them the possibilities and how they can be influential in the future. But the future is now.
It's now, yeah.
The future is now. So that's what's the most fascinating.
Wow.
And so I tell you, she teaches from kindergarten, and that's what she teaches. She teaches future thinking.
Very cool.
Future thinking. And, and again, education has really changed. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be completely different from the norm. But if you think about it, since like the 1900s, there's been the same methodology. And it's only now in the 21st century where I honestly believe that it's because and maybe, Virginia, you can speak to this, it's only now that they're really kind of forced. I think there's no choice. Is that what you agree?
I agree. I believe that we're kind of being forced to change right now because of the demand of today's world.
Right, exactly. So this is again now. What I love is that it teaches far more than, what is it, the 3 R's? You remember the 3 R's? Math, arithmetic, and what is it? Arithmetic, reading, arithmetic, and I forgot the other. But
I don't know. I've never heard that. I don't know.
Okay, well, honey, that's back in my day.
Okay.
Back in my day.
Gotcha.
But yeah, again, within their now though, they're teaching so much beyond. They're teaching beyond academia. They're teaching reading and writing, technology, critical thinking. They're teaching actually life events, which is something that I think most of us missed in our education.
Yeah.
With that said, I always like to leave a quote, and I want to close my training with a quote that says, "Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient tomorrow doesn't make sense. So, it doesn't make sense that we would think, we're so arrogant that we think that what we did yesterday would be
good enough.
Exactly. So, and this really speaks to the fact, and this was by William Pollard, but this really speaks to the fact that we have to constantly be learning and constantly be in that evolution of change and be very comfortable with it.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part. So today I want to introduce my guest, who I'm very excited to introduce, because we've been talking a lot for quite some time about what she does in the classroom, and honestly takes these children from the classroom and beyond, pretty much like this other woman. So I want to introduce VirginiaVasquez-Rodriguez. She is an innovator and an educator. She's also a doctoral candidate of global leadership in business. And she is a native Dominican Republic who was born in the U.S., migrated back to the Dominican Republic, and then came back when she was 15 years old. So you talk about,
Yeah, I can imagine.
and was very immersed in both cultures and in both languages. She has earned her bachelor's in Romance languages, which sounds very sexy. History, which is very boring.
I like history.
From Richard Stockton University. I'm just teasing.
Okay.
She has her master's in education from Rutgers University, and she is, as I said, she is currently enrolled in a doctoral program with leadership and global business from Mid-America University.
Very impressive.
She teaches Spanish for 16 years.
Well,
16
I'm always here if you need help practicing.
Yeah, I know. Because Katie has learned Spanish.
Work in progress.
Yeah, you do a really good job. Really.
Thank you. She's giving me too much credit, but thank you.
No, I'm sorry. When I have a conversation and she gets it and she's like, she answers in English,
because
but
I get nervous when I have to speak in Spanish. But I can hear you.
But and you get it, you understand, like you're not lost at all.
No,
You're not you don't miss a beat, you know.
Yeah.
So here's the thing where Virginia really proves her excellence is by applying technology and innovation to her teaching techniques.
Okay.
That's what's most fascinating. She she teaches kids to embrace the language, and she teaches more than just language. She teaches culture. She world events.
That's so important.
And she actually brings the world together with Spanish.
Wow.
And just does a lot of comparison teaching. So she's very creative in that. So without further ado, here is Virginia Vasquez-Rodriguez,
Yay.
the soon-to-be Dr. Vasquez-Rodriguez.
Thank you very much. It is an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Nilda.
It's an honor for us and all the wealth of information that you're going to bring. So let's just jump right into it because, again, I'm really excited about this. So I want to start with, I think, the most basic question. What inspired you to become an educator? Because educating children, especially in this day and age, is not easy. What inspired you?
Well, many things. I grew up in a household where school and teaching was part of my everyday life. I come from a family of educators. I wanted to be an influence. I wanted to be a role model. I wanted to contribute to shaping the next generation of global citizens.
Awesome. That's awesome.
A+.
Yeah, A+. Yeah, you passed.
Thank you. What's my grade?
A+.
A+.
Again, Katie just graded you.
I did. Yeah. Surprise.
So you've been really successful in getting children to really have that, even children that have difficulties learning, to actually become engaged and apply the lessons that you teach. How do you do it?
Well, it's an everyday thing that I add on, build on as the day goes by in the classroom. The first thing that I do, I make connections. That's the first thing that I do with my students. Every 5 minutes before the beginning of the class, I spend 5 minutes with my students, talking about their life, if there's anything exciting going on in your life, if there's anything that you want to tell me, any special events, is there a movie that you would like to watch? So I make that connection, and once we create that connection, then we moved on into the learning process.
So you know, in marketing, and I think, Katie, you can attest to this, but in marketing, they talk a lot about engagement and a lot about, yeah, they talk, right, isn't that's like the core of it, engagement, and being able to become a friend with your
It's the
customer.
personal relationship.
Yeah, because we've become very high tech, but, you know, high tech without high touch is difficult, and so you've learned the magic of that in your kids, that you don't come in just to like, okay,
No.
so here is the class and we're
It's
going to learn.
impossible. It's very difficult to do that. If you don't make connections with the kids and they know that you're there for them and you are interested about what happened in their lives, that you actually care for how they feel that certain day, that you care about what's going on in their life, it's kind of hard to make those connections. The kids can sense that you actually care or not.
Okay,
They
and
do.
so that, you think that kind of ignites learning? Do you think that has a real, really?
It
Okay,
definitely does.
it does.
I
So-
see the difference.
So way before the lesson, you're connecting and you're engaging.
Connecting. And they know that this is going to last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes, and then after that, we're going back into learning and the class. Then that's when I start applying, okay, what we're going to do for the day.
Okay, that's awesome. So you do that connection on a daily basis.
Every day.
So, what do you believe is important about students learning a second language? Because, I'm sorry, I did the research. And I found a quote of yours which I thought was great, okay? So, whether your motivations are practical, intellectual, or sentimental, learning a language is something that will benefit you for the rest of your life. And I was like, wow. So,
Thank you.
the question is, what's important about learning a second language? Like, why would you want a second language? I mean, one thing that we hear a lot, right, Katie? We're in America, speak
Yeah.
English. Why do we need another language?
Not
Why is that
anymore.
important?
Not anymore. In
Okay.
the 21st century, I believe it is a must to know a second language.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Spanish is one of the most popular languages because a lot of people in Latin America, Central America, speak Spanish. So by knowing Spanish, you'll be able to communicate with a lot more people than you speak any other language. But it is a must. Technology nowadays, you can communicate with anybody. So
in real time.
in real time,
Yeah.
Right.
there are many reasons why you should learn a foreign language. The work market, the job field is the number one reason. If you know 2 languages, you can for 2.
Yeah, I've always been really blessed because I was bilingual, and I have to be honest with you, I was bilingual by force. Yeah, because at home, when I was younger, my dad would not allow us to speak English at home because he said, you know, English, I mean, outside of my doors, everything is in English, but in my home, it's going to be
Yeah.
Spanish. And so I have to tell you, for many years, I resented that. I hate it, like when my dad would speak to me in Spanish in public, because I was like, oh my God, I was mortified. I was going to die. Luckily I didn't, and I made it through that. But I have to tell you, it was the biggest blessing because it was oftentimes the qualifier, because it was that one more thing that I had
Yeah.
than my other colleagues. So for work and for so many different areas, that's always been a plus for me. So now, right? Well, not now, but now as an adult, I've been an adult for a little while already. But I see it as a real benefit. But as a child, I was mortified. That was like the worst thing that my parents, all that I thought my dad could have done to me. So I know that you teach, and I hear your stories and your awesome students and how they engage so well with you. How have you applied innovative skills to the teaching?
Most of the time I use technology. I love technology
It is fascinating.
because I can bring the outside world into my classroom. It is kind of difficult for me to teach culture through a book or like stories. If I play a video from a country in Argentina, let's say Dominican Republic, they watching something that is going on in another part of the world that with words I can actually explain it, but through media and technology it's possible nowadays. So technology to me is something big. I can play live videos, culture, in my classroom. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words. So that's one of the things that is helping me to bring the outside world into my classroom and make the kids realize, especially children that haven't been outside the United States and exposed to new cultures.
Right.
Okay, this is what my culture is about. This is what we do.
Right.
Birthday celebrations, Sweet
Right.
15s. Kids
Yeah.
don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I can show the kids in class, this is what Spanish people do.
Yeah,
This is how
the
we celebrate.
Quinceañera.
Quinceañeras,
Right.
el 24 de diciembre,
Yeah.
Christmas.
Uh-huh. And you do that through innovation, like bringing in technology. Okay. I need to hear your story about, because it was a funny story. Okay, when was the first time that you ever saw a smartboard?
Okay, this is funny. This happened about 10 years ago. I
Yeah.
went to Mexico for training for my master's degree. So I was there for about a month. I remember that in the program, they took us to this high school to do a training for the day. So we all teachers, like 30 teachers in the classroom. So when we see the professor
From the United States?
from the United States,
Okay.
studying abroad in Mexico for a month and a half.
Yeah.
So we're in the class and
Uh-huh.
we see this professor losing, it looks like a poster board actually,
Right.
twice the size. So
Yeah.
we see him, he turned it on like it was a TV, and then he started writing and putting stuff on it
With a finger.
with his finger. So all the
You were like,
teachers,
"It's magic.
what is
It's
this?
magic.
We all kept looking at each other like, what is this? Mind you, that we were coming from the United States at university.
Progressive, yeah.
In the United States, we
Right.
were teachers in the classroom. So the first time that I ever saw a smartboard in my life was in Mexico. And I came from the United States.
Yeah. So that must have been like,
A chalker. I'm like,
yeah.
these people are more advanced than we are. I
Right.
didn't know what that was. Not only
Yeah.
me, 29 other teachers that worked with
Wow.
me in that class were like,
Yeah.
are we missing something? What is
Right.
this? The
What?
professor
Yeah.
couldn't even believe it. Like, are you guys serious?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So talk about innovation and being progressive.
Yes.
So we're gonna take a little break, but before we do that, I want to ask you one more question. How do you teach the kids creative thinking? Because I know creative thinking is a big thing, especially now in the technology world. I know you've told me a few things, and I think I kind of have an idea, but I want you to tell the audience, how do you teach creative thinking? Like, is that a class?
No, it's
do that.
actually a learning process.
Yeah.
You can teach critical thinking to improve the kids viewing things through a different lens. You give them a different perception
Yeah.
of things that we use every day in our normal life. You just increase the difficulty level to help them motivate or spark the
Yeah.
curiosity.
Yeah, yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
The curiosity.
Right.
I
right.
also use my critical thinking. I'm using the 5 C's in the classrooms. The 5 C's.
Oh, what are the 5 C's?
Oh, the 5 C's. I love it.
I feel like I should write
Love
this
it.
down.
Yeah, yeah. You need to write this down.
The 5 C's in the classroom, I use the 5 C's to stimulate the critical thinking. The 5 C's are communications, culture, connections, comparisons, and community. The communication part is having the kids use the language in the classroom as we do the exercises that we do.
There you go, Katie. So you need to speak back to us in Spanish.
Communication, yes,
Sí.
it's practice. It's all about practice,
Alright.
putting into practice what you learn in the classroom. But not only you use the communication, but you also integrate the cultural aspect into what we're learning.
Right, right.
So it's like a multi,
Yeah, because it's more than just the language.
yes, it's
Yeah.
more than that. You
Yeah.
use it through communicating the language, but also you teach culture at the same time. Then the connections, we make connections from, okay, what do we do in the United States that is different from the practices that they have in Latin America?
Right.
So we make connections and they see the difference between our life here in the United States and how different or similar we do things.
Right.
So by making comparison, it sparks the critical thinking.
And you know what I've learned when you do these comparisons, that it's more than just the differences, but the commonalities that we're not even aware of. We're
Yeah.
more common than we're not.
Definitely.
You know, and I think that for me, that's been the most fascinating thing, because I'm like, oh, it's really aren't that different after all.
No.
Okay, so go ahead.
The other one is comparisons. Like I say, like you say, we are more different than we,
We're more-
similar than what we think we are.
Right.
Even though we speak a different language, even though we have different customs, different practices, we
love
are very
to
common.
dance,
yes.
love to
We do.
eat.
The eating part is a must in the Spanish community, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In a couple of weeks, we're gonna have the coquito, the
Yes.
coquito
I
masters.
saw that.
Yeah, that's a big thing for us. Are you kidding me? That's on October 22nd.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I know.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, because everything, festivities are around the food, and our culture is our music and our food. So,
It's the community I think she was talking about.
yeah, exactly.
Food is
So,
part of who we really are.
there you go.
There's no gathering